Welcome back to Newslink. Now, Eskom has been placed, has placed acting head of security, that's Karen Pillay, under precautionary suspension. The power utility saying this is to allow an investigation into allegations against her to continue unhindered. Let's unpack this even further. I'm now joined by head of the Department of Safety and Security Management at Tshwane University of Technology, Professor Jacob Mofokeng, made time for us this morning. And thank you so much, Prof, for speaking to me about this. And good morning to you. What do you make of this decision by Eskom upon hearing of it?
Well, good morning, Tumelo, and your viewers. Well, we can really observe that as early as 2018, and Eskom has always been in the news for wrong reasons. You remember it presented its progress in terms of governance, and then there were quite a number of challenges as well as including supply chain management. Now we see this head of security, insourcing a security company to do the work without really following, the internal processes of which, amongst others, are good in governance. Looking at the amount of the money, then one will really observe that it is indeed raining, or if not pouring, within the Eskom. And Eskom has, posed itself as one of the candidates for, for always not following the processes. And it wants to make good news for wrong reasons. It was really encouraging to see that the chairperson of SCOPA indicated that, we welcome the establishment or the appointment of the Eskom board, knowing that it comes at a time where Eskom is really confronted with challenges. But for one to, so many years after, several submissions to the parliament, in terms of good governance, it shows that every person will try to take Eskom as a cash cow, and even in this particular case, whereby, now Eskom has put this particular individual, on cautionary suspension.
I think, at the same time, Prof, you remind me of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo yesterday, even while addressing, giving that keynote address yesterday, taking us back to even 2015 around the Gupta era of, state capture and how they infiltrated influence within Eskom, I suppose speaking, to governance within the power utility. But also, what does it say about some of those allegations that even Andre de Ruyter, made regarding the rot within Eskom and how serious these allegations are?
Well, it shows that, as you rightly indicated, that Chief Justice indicated that the government is really dragging its feet in terms of implementing the recommendation that were made in the Zondo Commission. It shows that any person who is in the position of power, then they look at the probability whether, if they go ahead in terms of, engaging in fruitless and wasteful expenditure, whether there will be any repercussions, towards that particular individual. And in this case, we see that many people in the positions of executives, they do get away with all this maladministration. So we lack ethical leadership within, these state-owned entities, as well as from the government. There's really no political will to be able to indeed, to merge what they say with what they will be able to implement. And the issue of corruption is evolving and is always been, in the public news. And look at people who will try to come forward as they encourage, becoming whistleblowers, and look at the torture of such individuals to such an extent that others will even lose their lives, and then they will be frustrated in terms of, the payments where the banks will try to repossess their properties. Then it shows that, like what we are having now with Eskom, that for many years, always Eskom is in the news for wrong reasons. And then what is happening, we also hear that, there are a lot of internal conflicts within Eskom where those that are put on suspensions, they will try to sabotage, this entity. So, but, the overall picture that we are having in South Africa is indeed, many times we were told that crime does not pay, but it looks like in South Africa, crime pays. And those that, that are involved in corruptive practices, we never hear of what will have happened to them.
Yeah.
So there are so many cases that are now in the custody of the South African Police Service, which, Chief Justice Zondo in the Zondo Commission recommended that certain individuals need to be prosecuted. But what is happening with those cases? You look at also the processes of the South African Police Service in terms of, selection of investigators as well as the clearance, security clearance. It's now a public information that even, the head of the police has not yet, received the security clearance. So what does it mean? It means that fewer cases are investigated by individuals that, are cleared to conduct such investigations. So now, with the case of Eskom, there is a need for integrated, business continuity plan that will have to deal with, the rotten apples within the system. We need key performance areas of, not only the board of Eskom, but also the executives, within Eskom that, will even touch down to the morale of employees as well as their well-being, so that whoever then within Eskom will come forward in terms of reporting such cases as the one that now is on the table, then such person will be protected so that, Eskom really should totally get out of the woods because, for many years, those who came before the parliament indicated that, well, there are certain steps that are being instituted, but Eskom is not yet out of the woods.
And that leads me to my next question to you, Prof. It leads me to this question around your confidence in this investigation. I mean, we're talking of 500 million rand here that's alleged to have been awarded unlawfully to a law firm. Do you have the confidence that these investigations will yield into tangible results, into individuals being, held to account, and possibly, I mean, even just in terms of charges that they would face, because this is, of course, an alleged case of corruption?
Well, confidence, we don't have confidence based on the failures and the continuity of corruption, within Eskom. So, every now and then, those who come to report on the state of affairs in the country, within the state, own entities, they come with, eloquent speeches and all those things, but they fail to implement whatever they submit. So then we are talking about a hopeless hope here, where the government will always, sell us as members of the public a prickle pear that we have to devise means to find that when we have to trust. I mean, so many cases where the government have come forth. Look at the issue of, the Hammanskraal issue, where even the president indicated that, we can trust the water when people are dying, in masses. So in this particular case, I'm not sure whether we are going to receive any, positive outcome in terms of those that are involved in this kind of corruptive activities.
We'll leave it there, and I appreciate you speaking to me about this. Head of the Tshwane University of Technology's Department of Safety and Security Management, Prof Jacob Mofokeng, thank you so much.